Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel, and this is what we're building. Now if it's brown we've done it, and in the last episode we did the legs and the struts, and here they are all packaged up ready for another day. Now we're moving to the upper section, which involves the diagonals, 1 to the left and 2 to the right, what's called the king post in the middle, and the very big heavy beam that sits underneath it. If all goes well, we'll have an assembly, well 3 of them actually, ready to go by the end of the video. Right, let's get down on site and get cracking. Right, I'm back from Scotland. Bloody French, tell ya, keep beating us. Never mind, it was very good. Anyway, so I'm now on to the upper section. I'm going to work on the diagonals, very much like those two things up there. Actually, I'm slightly annoyed with myself, and you can see it on this one here is I've sort of made the depth of this tenon here going across there 10 centimeters, 100 mil. I know that's not chainsawed very well, ignore that. And my plunge depth when I come to cut this is 7.5 centimeters, 75 mil. So it leaves me a bit of excess. I'm going to have to saw my way through. It's not a major bit of work. I didn't need the tenon to be that deep, if I'll be honest with you. So anyway, minor mistake, a little bit of extra work required. Hey, you won't believe this, I haven't mentioned, oh, do you know, I was just about to mention the weather. Bloody sun went in, it's out again. Springish day here in, what I say, mid-February. Maybe you can see, look at the speed of the clouds going over. If you haven't figured it out by now, I like talking about the weather. Spring's on the way. Well, I'm not a cock-up, but close. See, these are all pieces of wood, all about sort of 21 centimeters, 210 mil, which is fine. And I put the plunge on maximum plunge, thinking it's about 7, so 7, 14, even about a 7 centimeter tenon in width. But actually some of these are nearer 20, and actually the plunge depth is more like 77 mil. The result is that I've got a tenon that's more like 50 millimeters across. It is fine, and certainly for these ones, because it's really as much about sort of holding, you know, the tenon in place. It's not like these absolute sort of like whoppers like on the raised collar truss up there that are massively load bearing. So these are really, to be honest with you, just probably a bit more like struts, but I'm not going to lie to you, I intended them to be wider than they are. Anyway, it's going to be easier to mortise them later on. Okay, so that line you see there goes all the way round all 4 edges. So now I can basically start to carve the tenon out. Lovely evening here, got the light coming in on me. Right, now you can see why making a tenon 100 mil, not 75 mil is problematic, because it keeps falling short of where I need to go. Not a problem. Okay, there we go, look at that. So I'm giving myself a 7 out of 10 for cutting accuracy. There's a few dodgy bits. A 9 out of 10 for efficiency. Right, king post next. So king posts are fairly straightforward at the bottom. Got the dimensions here on my phone. Not perfect, but just getting a lot more accurate with lining these cuts up. Okay, so getting there. So all I've got to do now is basically saw down on this line here, and that's going to be the tenon. Okay, well that was super straightforward. Again, probably a 30-minute bit of effort there to get that done. And nicely cut as well. I need to just clean it up with a chisel, but really, really sharp edges. Right, I'm going to get some measurements now. Do the top bit, might involve a chainsaw, still thinking that through. Maybe not. That's to do the kind of king post notch. And I will definitely need the mortiser coming up. Right, I've just got a cunning little plan. So that is where I'm going to do the mortise. But I'm just going to check it definitely fits against the diagonals. Right, I think you can see what I'm doing here. I've rested the tenon up at the exact place where the top of the mortise is going to go. In theory, this line here should be lining up with that. It's not looking good at a glance. Let me have a quick play around. Okay, it's good. This here is pretty much flush. And that there is pretty much flush, as is this, and that's meeting the scratch line I've done up there, which is the very top of the mortise. So that is spot on. Not often I say that. Well, first shout out, I think it has to go to France since they beat us at rugby, although it's from Rick, who maybe doesn't sound French, but he is up in Normandy. It's a black flag now because I'm still in mourning. Okay, here we go. It's our old friend, chain mortiser, back on the scene. There we go, first one done, over halfway down. Okay, one done. Over through. Right, it's March. Another month zips by. Been fairly productive, but I've not been on site for 2 weeks. Not my fault, I've just been away. Doing stuff, friends up, that sort of thing. I did last week, didn't have much time, I don't know if you can see, it doesn't look brilliant, but I did attempt to re-level and scrape back the travesty of a garden that was ruined by the big telehandler experience. The fact there's big puddles on it shows I've not been entirely successful. Trust me, it's a lot better, so I just need to re-seed that. Although it's a nice day, don't be fooled. I don't know if you can see down there, that's ice, so it is pretty chilly. And I know what you're thinking. Hey Alex, we've not had a tarpaulin update for a while. Well, if you look here, you can see it looks a little bit taut on this side. It's been pulled up. Why would that be? Look at the contrast. Look at that. I've basically got a massive like pool of water. It would be quite a nice water supply, that, in fairness, if I could sort of tap it out. I think I just need to bash it with a bit of 2x4. That's not great. That's quite a problem. Very heavy. Oh God, what do I do? Predictable. Anyway, bracing. Right, the tarp's done, and maybe in return for that mild soaking you might want to like or subscribe to the channel. It really would be appreciated. Right, these are the king posts. These are the one that I mortised out, last job I did. But now what I need to do is I basically need to cut a kind of wedge for the purlins to sit in. So I'm going to do this, and I think I'm going to do it with the chainsaw. What I'll do is, chainsaw's not very accurate, but I've decided I'm going to sort of like measure on one side, cut halfway down, then measure on the other. Should turn out accurate, I reckons. Okay, do the job. It looks a bit rough in there, but I can tidy it up. You don't want to see it there. It's going to be supporting a purlin. Nice. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All looking of sufficient quality. Right. By the way, weather report. God, it's lovely. So not only is it looking lovely and spring-like, but the chill's gone. It's actually really warm. The sun's coming round. Anyway, so these top ones are all done now. I haven't doweled them or anything, or done the drill holes. I'm definitely going to do that when I've sort of semi-assembled it all. So the bit I need to now do are the big cross beams. Now these are located down here and they're under stuff. So and also I'm going to struggle to get them across like these because they're so wide. So I'm just going to have a bit of a minor rejig, and I'm going to take all these pieces out and just sort of store them nearby. I will be using them fairly soon, I hope. Right, we're back here again. This is where all the wood started. So I'm going to move the stuff down the end. See those 2 bits of oak? Tell you what we've not had for a while on the site. A time lapse. Hit it. Right, I've got these 3 big beams, which are like the big cross beams, you call them. They're heavy and they're long. I've squeezed them here to keep them dry, although it turned out to be a bit of a waste of time in the end. Turn her over, up, back. Right, so I've done that top diagonal, chain and plane. Just remembered I've got to get this chunk out here at the bottom as well, which will accept the side beam that will sort of project through it. Going to use the chainsaw. I'm getting a bit trigger happy on the chainsaw, I know. I just can't resist the speed. But I'm not going to cut all the way down. I'm going to cut through the top and then flip it over and come from the other side. Okay, a bit of a rough edge there. Otherwise that was quite good. Did a slightly better job of it down at this end. This is usually the moment where I start thinking, oh God, I've done something ridiculous here. But no, I think we're okay. You need to measure this up. Now, this sort of bit here looks like it's gone in. You think it hasn't lined up. But actually, this is cut in deeper in the middle. And that's about right. So the point being is that these outside edges look good. So the side beam will go in there, will sit on there. There'll be a little bit of a gap underneath here that will never be seen. That's actually fairly sharp. Pleased with that. If you're interested, here's the other end. Doesn't really need much planing. I mean, look at that line there from a chainsaw. Pretty good. Right, there we go. All 3 are done. Now, as I said, the next job is to do the mortising. It's 3:30 and I want to go and hit some golf balls. It's a really nice day. It's lovely now actually. So I might call it a day there. But that is good progress. Right, I'm going to do a little finale to the day. Now, something that's been annoying me for ages is this leg to the right here. I don't know if you can see, but it's definitely at an angle. And if you look at the strut, which is going from the left up there, you can see there's actually a gap heading up to where that dowel is. Now, what I've done is I've just punched the dowel out quite easily. I've put a bit of wood, a bit of 2x4 to hold it up. And you see I've got the blue and the yellow straps. Well, I'm going to try and winch this in and pull that leg in, because in theory, the fact that the leg is sort of like angled down to the bottom right and there's a gap at the top of that strut tells me it could easily come in. This probably fits in the category of don't do things like this late in the day, but I'm going to do it anyway because I fancy it. Let's give it a go. Yeah. Right, that is spot on. I say spot on. I haven't actually measured it with a spirit level, but it looks good. I just need to redowel that one there. But that's good. Nice job done. Nothing fell down.
Well, we're going down under, and a lot of Australian sounding words in this sentence. Victoria and Scott from Adelaide in Australia. They said they did like the way we got the wood out of the van. I remember it well. That was last year. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.
Right, I've just got half an hour spare before the rugby. It's Italy versus Scotland. Come on, Scotland. And I'm basically going to make an enormous skateboard, kind of, with this sketchy bit of scaffold board. All will be revealed. Right. So we've upgraded from the Roman rollers. I mean, the basic point being, it's quite hard to get these out. And also, there's going to be a full assembly in a bit. And I want to be able to move it around a lot more easily. So these should help, I think. Right, bit of a curse of Alex Builds is that whenever I come out and say, I've got to go now to watch the rugby, Scotland lose. So yesterday they got beaten by Italy. I also travelled up to Murrayfield to see them play France. They lost that one. Anyone who likes rugby and is Scottish will know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is not a rugby channel. So today, what we've got to do is mortise out these, the big beams. There's one at the end, one in the middle. So 3 times 3, 9 mortises. I'm going to crack on with that. I'm hopeful I can get a lot done today. In theory, we might actually have 3 large kind of like truss triangle type assemblies ready by the end of the day. Let's see how we get on. Right, I'm going to have to be careful today. I don't think I'm quite with it. Measure thrice, cut once. So on the first one, for some reason, I thought half of 22.4 centimetres was 11.2 centimetres. Attempt 2, that way. And then I realised I've taken completely the wrong measurement from the end. Good to check. Anyway, there it is. And you can tell it's correct because it's got a big tick in the middle. Right, maybe a little faint. There's one. There's the middle one in there. Forget the dimensions. And here's the outer one. It took me 3 attempts. So it would actually be good not only to mortise these, but to do the drilling as well. Right, the power is off. The chain's come off. This is the first time this has happened. And I don't know how to sort it. Can't be that hard though, can it? Oop. By the way, I'm going to do a shout out. It's not paid for, no sponsorship. Very good little tool this. Charges on like a micro USB thing. Lasts for ages. Very good. Right. So the chain, the chain's fine, it's not broken, it's just loose. And it needs to go over there. So even if I could somehow force that over, which I'm not going to do, it would still be too loose. Okay, that's good. That's good. Do that the other way. So basically I've undone this, I don't know if I need to do that. So that one's the adjuster, can you see that? There you go. Okay, good. I think we're sorted. Good. Right, we got there in the end. That's number 2 in the middle. There's the other one down there. Right, I'm going to stop. God, a second, I thought I'd done it on the wrong side. I definitely haven't. I'm going to stop for lunch quickly and then come back. Probably going to put some dowel holes in the side, and then I'm going to test this one out with, zoom in. No, couldn't zoom in, but anyway, going to test it with those. Right, little recap. Mortised, drilled for the dowel. So I'm going to lift this one out and I'm going to transport it out of this very tight space here. And I'm going to bring it down here and try and construct one of these things, although it is raining quite hard at the minute. How are you going to get it out of that tight space, Alex? I know you're thinking. It's the skates. Past the first test, not completely collapsing. I'm going to try and do this by hand. It's probably a bit too heavy, I might need the Avant. Let's just give it a go. This way. Yeah! Love it when we get to this bit. I really do. I love it. What does that look like? Just check it's in shot. It is. That was just doable by hand. These diagonals are heavier. So, let's see. You're next. Oh, hang on. Didn't I number these? Did I? Did it make any difference? I numbered the legs. No, these are all the same. No, these are all the same. Forget that. Forget that. I wouldn't want to be lifting anything much heavier. Go up, but that's not a problem. Yes. Now, this is where it might get a bit tricky. Right. I've got to do is lift this up and that will drop in. So, I mean, that's got about that much. That's fine. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to think that through. It's going to involve me a van, I'm pretty sure of that. I knew these were coming useful. A lot easier than I thought. Yep, it was a lot easier than I thought. Why has it not gone in? Good God. I'm telling you, that is like a quality job. Wowzers.
Right, there you go. It's another episode done and loads of progress made. And if you look at the design, you can see there's not a lot of white left, just the side beams and the purlins. Next episode is going to be all about on the ground construction, and you're going to be treated to this fiasco.
The Bosch hammer is smoking.
So that's one to look forward to. As always, I really appreciate you watching. If you could like or subscribe, that would be great. And if you leave me a comment, let me know where you're from. You might get on the map, and I always try and reply. See you next time.